What we're going to do today, we're going to plant a field about a mile down the road, mile and a half down the road. A friend of mine owns a farm down there, and we're going to plant about 2 acres in Bloody Butcher. It's an old dent field corn, beautiful corn. It's if anyone really likes open pollinated heirloom seed like we sell a lot of Bloody Butcher. Your family can survive on that seed. It's a great seed. It's been around since the early 1800s, and it was a cross, they think, between a settler's field corn and Indian corn, and it's just a beautiful corn, very drought resistant. It's high in protein, and a lot of people ask us here at Rayleigh Farm and Field, what do you plant your corn with? And this is why I wanted to show you this video right here. We do it the old-fashioned way. We've got an old Farmall 140. This is a 1959 Farmall 140 made by International, and it does all of our corn planting, and I plant it myself. We do it one row at a time, and we can plant and then come back and cultivate several times and lay it by. And when you lay it by, you kind of mound up dirt on each side of the corn plant when it's knee high and put another dose of fertilizer to it. These are some of the rear sweeps on the back. But this is probably one of the handiest farming tractors ever invented. And I'm a fan of International. I collect some of them. But this Farmall 140, if you Google them, they've almost got like a cult following. This planter right here is one of my favorite planters. It's the Duplex, International Duplex. I believe it was made by Cole. And if you look on the right side, right here, it says corn. And over on the left side, it says peas. And what you could do, you could plant, in the old days, they would plant corn in this hopper, and over here, they may plant peas or some kind of running bean, and the bean would run up the corn. And a lot of people planted velvet beans, and I know people that plant rattlesnake beans and pole beans with their corn. But this is a famous old hopper, and they still work good. Now this is an aftermarket fertilizer applicator. I have the original one, but it got real tired and rusty, so I put an aftermarket. How this piece of equipment works: your fertilizer comes down this hose right here, and it drops ahead of the planter, and then your planter drops your seed down this metal hose, and it drops right down there, and it's covered up by these back wheels. And in the front, we have a little plow, and that plow is actually probably 80, 90 years old. It came from my wife Kathy's her grandfather's farm. But that old plow right there digs the furrow. And then you drop the fertilizer and the seed in the furrow, and the back wheel covers it up. Earlier in the year, we don't use the plow. We just go straight into the ground with a planter, and we don't use the plow. Later in the year, when we know it's going to get a little drier, I want a furrow that'll hold moisture. Again, this is a Farmall 140. Over here, we just finished our corn crib. This is where this year we'll bring our corn in. A good friend of mine that goes to one of the churches where I preach, young man, fine young man, he and his wife, his name is Richard, his wife's name Fela. They helped me build this corn crib. The lumber was cut on his farm. He's got a little sawmill, and he cut it up. And Richard is a fine young man. He and his wife are great young people. Richard did 3 tours in Iraq, and just a great young man. He helps me a lot. That right there is Bear. That's my grandson Sam's dog. And he's my main man. My grandson says that's his brother, so that makes Bear my other grandson. He's a good boy. Yes, you are, buddy. Yes, you are. So let's go see if we can plant some Bloody Butcher, and I'll show you how that seed comes out of that planter and what a good job this little tractor does. We raise mainly open pollinated heirloom seed, non-GMO seed like Bloody Butcher, Blue Hoppy, or Hopi. We raise a seed that's almost extinct. It's called Hastings Prolific. It's an old field corn that was put out by the H.G. Hastings Company out of Atlanta. And we plant a lot of different Indian corns, and I'm just a big believer in the non-GMO corn. I spent 30 years in the industry, in the ag industry, with a major chemical and fertilizer company. I was in sales and management and a certified crop advisor, and I used to sell the GMO seed. And but I really believe that to feed your family, that this non-GMO open pollinated seed is the way to go. And I'll tell you one of the reasons. You can plant this in a field for wildlife and have a field close by with Roundup ready corn, and the deer will come to this seed and they'll devour this field of Bloody Butcher or Hastings Prolific or some of the other corns, field corns like that, non-GMO, and they'll leave that Roundup ready field alone until the old heirloom corn's gone. One of the reasons, this corn right here is about 18 to 25% higher. Some tests have showed it almost 30% higher in protein than some of your other field corns. So come along and we'll go plant some Bloody Butcher at my buddy Daryl's farm.